Hey everybody, welcome to IGEL Fridays. My name is Simon Townsend and James and the channel team have asked me just to spend 7 minutes talking to you about IGEL. I've ripped up the corporate deck and prepared something fresh for you, so let's dive in. I want to start by talking about your workspace, the workspace that you're currently sat at. You're probably sat at a Windows or a Mac machine, and hopefully you're one of the lucky people that's got a nice shiny new device and it's got Windows 10 installed and it runs perfectly. However, the Windows doesn't always perform the way that we want. Sometimes it takes a little bit too long to do what we need it to do. Sometimes it crashes, and on many occasions it constantly needs to be updated. Whether you're waiting for a slow log on or an application to start, you may well go for a walk, have a cup of tea, who knows? But the truth is, we've all seen screens like this that affect our productivity. It's not just the users that are concerned about what's going on at the endpoint. It's also IT, and IT are particularly worried about ransomware and the threats, particularly when many of us continue to work from home and we're moving into this work from anywhere world. Everybody's worried about you and the employees clicking on that email that looks authentic, and in fact, it probably isn't. And when you're sat down on every Tuesday night to watch your favorite TV program, it's those people in IT who are having to worry about deploying and testing all of those updates to all of your devices. And twice a year at the very least, particularly when we're putting our clocks forward and when we're putting our clocks back, Microsoft release another version of Windows 10, which then needs to be updated. And our poor friends in IT have to go through and start updating all of these operating systems, again, many of them which are now remote. So today, I don't want to talk to you about Windows. I don't want to talk to you about Mac OS or Google Chrome. I want to talk to you about another operating system. And that operating system is IGEL OS. IGEL OS is simple to use. It's smart for IT to configure. It doesn't take a great deal of time. There's no need to patch it every Tuesday or update it every 6 months. And it's super secure because it's a read-only operating system, meaning that users and employees can't do anything nasty to it, and ransomware can't actually write to the disk in the first place. It's utilized by 17,000 customers. It's installed on over 4 million endpoints, and it's completely changing how people roll out digital workspaces throughout many organizations, including finance, insurance, healthcare, local government, and education. You can install IGEL OS in a number of different ways on a number of different devices. You can actually have IGEL OS pre-installed from the factory on certain devices like these Lenovo laptops as an example. Or alternatively, you can take a 2-year-old PC, or in fact, a 10-year-old classroom of PCs, and install IGEL OS on those. Immediately, those devices are more secure, they're more easy to manage, they actually perform better as well. Installing IGEL on an existing endpoint actually extends the life by anything up to from 2 to 5 years. That's not only saving customers money, it's also much better for the planet. You can also have IGEL OS run off a USB key, something we call the UD Pocket. You plug this device into any device and you boot up from that USB key, and you've now got a secure, very simple to use, very easy for IT to manage operating system, allowing people to work securely from home. Very useful for disaster recovery, very useful if a machine has been infected with ransomware, very useful if someone's looking at BYOD. And all of this can be managed by something called the UMS, the Universal Management Suite. It supports over 100,000 devices, and it allows us to remotely manage across the internet all of our users and all of our workstations. So you may be saying, okay, that's great. I now know IGEL OS is an operating system, but who do I sell it to? Who's the target market? When should I introduce it? Well, I'm sure you're talking to your customers about work from anywhere strategies. And one of the technologies, or two technologies, that are being used to enable work from anywhere strategies is both VDI and desktop as a service. Solutions from Citrix, VMware, Microsoft, and Amazon Workspaces. Many of you will already be selling these technologies, talking about how we can move applications and Windows up into the cloud, and that it's easier to manage, that it's easy to secure. But there is one big problem with this, and it is a big but, is that every user still needs a device. And the question really comes is, if you're going to spend all this time and money deploying VDI and desktop as a service, then why would you then go and put Windows back on the endpoint, which again has got performance challenges, takes a lot of time to manage, and again, we worry about security updates and patching. And very simply, where IGEL comes into it, we install our operating system onto those endpoints, purpose-built to link in to those VDI and those desktop as a service environments. So really the questions that you could be asking your customers are as easy as 1, 2, 3. Number one, are you currently using or looking at deploying or migrating to a VDI or desktop as a service solution? What devices do those employees currently use to connect to those VDI and desktop as a service environment? Are they using Windows? Do they need to update them? Are they using thin clients? Do those thin clients support the latest version of Citrix, as an example? Do they support the ability to run Microsoft Teams or Zoom? If so, we would like to talk to them. We'd like to talk to you about your endpoint strategy. We'd like to talk to you about how we can save you money, save you time, and introduce IGEL. Why IGEL? As I said, significant time savings, massive reduction in operational costs when compared to managing traditional environments. Very easy to deploy, very easy to manage, very easy to patch. No need to be patching every Tuesday, no need to be updating it on a regular basis. Customer can save a huge amount of money. In fact, we can take that money they were going to spend on buying net new hardware. We can repurpose and reuse their existing hardware, which means there's more budget for them to spend on other solutions or your services. It's incredibly secure. It's incredibly good for the environment. Both VDI, desktop as a service, and IGEL combined are very good at reducing an organization's carbon footprint. It works with the very latest versions of all the VDI and desktop as a service solutions. And as I've said, fully supports things like unified communications. Hope that's been of use. Back to James. Hopefully many of you win some prizes. Thank you for listening.